Hello, Leeds United fans. Listen, we are setting the tone for the summer where I'm going to be updating you guys consistently all the time. Whatever the weather, rain or shine, I might be out and about. I might be just at my laptop working, which I just was then, or I could be downstairs in the studio. Listen, whatever the weather, rain or shine, we will be updating you on Leeds United news. And listen, there's 38% of you who aren't subscribed. What are you doing? Make sure you do that. Turn the notification bell on, and guess what? You will then be updated. You'll be clocked in any single time we do stuff here on One Leeds. Now, a little bit of an update, everybody. It's good news. It is good news because I think this is almost validation for this not happening. And when you can see the title at this moment in time, you're probably thinking, who is it, Connor? Why? Is this actually happening? Yes. And I think, listen, throughout the season, we've always got the indication that Leeds United are not going to be featuring players if they aren't involved in their training video. Now, I've just sat through the Southampton training video. 2 names, not there for me. 2 attacking options, not there. 2 striker options, one of which has caused Leeds United problems on multiple occasions, all the way back to when he played for Birmingham. Who is it, everybody? It's Shae Adams. Now, this is really, really interesting because he's been left out of the playoff games, presumably to wrap him up in cotton wool for this game. Could Russell Martin be playing mind games? 100%. Of course he does. The Tinker Man has done things in these sort of 2 games with Leeds United, whether or not it's been a 3-5-2, a 4-3-3, a 4-4-2 in possession or throughout the game, to almost muck around with Leeds United. So I fully expect this to maybe be a little bit of a tactic by Russell Martin, but could it actually be a bit of a problem, a bit of a stipulation for the Saints manager, the Saints players as well? We've seen throughout these 2 games that they've played against West Bromwich Albion that it has been Adam Armstrong, that it has been David Brooks who've caused the most problems, who've caused the most issues for the opposition side. Shae Adams hasn't been available. But as we mentioned at the start, this was all a thing, right? This was all supposed to be a thing for the playoffs. See if he is available. That combative, that presser, that man who has been arguably, or one of at least, the best players in the championship this season. Bravo to Shae Adams. Years ago, we were linked with him. That didn't quite happen. That didn't quite materialize. But throughout this season, him and Adam Armstrong as a partnership is a huge problem. It's a massive problem, and it has been a problem for Leeds United. What have they done in these sort of playoff semi-finals? Well, they've coped with it really nicely, to be fair. The West Bromwich Albion game, they thoroughly deserved to win that second half, and Carlos Corberán came out in the second half, after the second half, I should say, and just said throughout the 2 legs, the better team won, and we all knew that. We all knew that. I think we all had that feeling in our bones that it was going to be a Leeds United Southampton final. I think back in 18-19 under Marcelo Bielsa and Villa under the stewardship of Dean Smith, I had a feeling it was going to be Leeds Villa in the final. Obviously, it didn't work out that way. Derby beat Leeds United and it turned in that sort of respect. However, this always felt like the stars were aligning. Leeds versus Southampton, obviously post-international break, we blew it out the water. And listen, this game it could be turned on something like that. It could be turned on something like Shae Adams being out, because I think he's such an important player for Southampton. We've spoken previously about Flynn Downs coming back, being huge for them, being absolutely huge in terms of getting that midfield really ticking, enabling Will Smallbone to make those box-to-box runs and taking the responsibility off his shoulders a little bit. We've also got Joe Rebo to contend with, but Flynn Downs is huge for this game. And I think the battle between him and Jorginho Rutter is going to be absolutely key in terms of who comes out on top. Who comes out on top, Leeds United or Southampton? I think it literally could come down to Flynn Downs versus Jorginho Rutter. I think it could be that important in terms of individual battles. Now, we've spoken about Shae Adams, almost amplifying a press for Southampton and him being so huge in that respect. And, the quality of that side is massive. They've underperformed this year, 100%. They've underperformed. And him being out, hopefully, if this training footage is sort of, one of those things that we're going to take forward and use, which I am doing right now, because I think when Leeds United haven't involved certain individuals in training videos, that means that they're out. We've seen it this season with Byron. We've seen it this season with Pascal. So I wonder if Southampton are doing the same. Now, the one worry I had throughout the entire season, I mentioned at the beginning of the season about Leeds signing this individual before we got in conversation with Joel Peru, it was Ross Stewart. Now, he was absolutely banging them in for Sunderland. It was a massive signing at the beginning of the window for Southampton. I think everybody looked at that and went, ooh, That's a good one. That's a really, really good addition to the ranks, a really, really solid addition as well, who's going to score you goals. And they've not had him, and they still are and they're still in the position that they're in right now with Shae Adams and Adam Armstrong and Brooks and players of that ilk as well, Stuart Armstrong. So they have a plethora of player, a plethora of quality. But it looks like Ross Stewart is going to be out if we are taking this training sort of video into account, really. And like I keep saying, everybody, it could be mind games. It really could be mind games by Russell Martin. But to film an entire training session and for a duo to be absent for that entire training session, I just find that a little bit more sort of obvious that they are going to be missing for this game. And that is huge for Leeds. Now, let me tell you why I think in terms of a physical presence, I think Ross Stewart is massive, especially when we're looking at set pieces where Leeds have been really, really weak, massively weak throughout the season. And we're going to touch on that at the end of the season, come what may, on how Leeds are going to have to develop when it comes to that. They have a big, big team, Southampton. Even when you look at the midfield, Aribo, Smallbone, Flynn Downs, you look a little bit further forward and you got Brooks isn't exactly small. You know, you look at Shae Adams when it comes to combativeness and physicality. You also look at, you know, Ross Stewart. You look at the back line, Bednarek, Stevens, Taylor Harwood-Bellis. These are all physical players that can cause problems when it comes to set pieces. Ross Stewart being out of that is massive as well, because I also think that there could have been a scenario potentially, don't know if this would have happened because of the performance that they put in the semi-final, which was good enough, really, without Ross Stewart overall and Shae Adams overall. I wondered if there was potentially going to be a combination option for Russell Martin of going to a 4-4-2 and having, you know, someone like, Stewart up front with Shae Adams and with Adam Armstrong, and almost having a little bit of a little and large in that respect. But if those two aren't available, not only does it take out a pressing component when it comes to Shae Adams and someone who's been so good in front of goal and such a good sort of supplement to Adam Armstrong in terms of his assists, but it also takes out height. It also takes out a real deadly finisher in Ross Stewart as well. You know, and as I mentioned to you guys previously, I genuinely believe Russell Martin is going to try and target that delivery, being expert, and those sort of dominant set pieces. And I think that is probably going to be a part of his game plan. So keep an eye on that one. But those two being absent from training, do you guys take anything from that? I personally do take something from that. I think there is something there. I think, you know, if you're doing an entire training session and they're just absent, that's something to take into consideration. How advantageous do you think that's going to be for Leeds United? Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, everybody. We're back with Brownie later on. Let me know what you think on that. Is that sort of an incremental advantage? Is that one of those fine margin things that Southampton having those two out could be a huge impact on Leeds United's fortunes? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and we'll see you in a